Welcome to Through From Within podcast. I am Alicia, mindset and business coach, who will guide you to be your own truth. This podcast is for the women who want to be delusional and create their empire. They want to wake up every morning and say to themselves, I get paid to be myself without apologizing to take their place in this world. This life I create for myself and design my own rule, and you can too. You can have the life that you deserve and sell every day to reach seven-figure business and become a true queen. If you are tired to please other people except yourself, to don't have the life that you deserve, to don't have the business of your dream, you want to change, this podcast is for you. Your past, your trauma don't define your future, except if you choose. Today, it's a day that you don't want to stay silent anymore. You want to transform your life and your business in another dimension. So I invite you to subscribe to this podcast and to subscribe to the True From Within newsletter. Hello! I am so excited for this episode because I will talk about self-confidence and how it's impact our business. As a female entrepreneur, we are so focusing on marketing, on how to grow our business, how to get new clients into our world, that we forget the basic is to be self-confident in our identity, confident in our identity, in our message, even if nobody is listening or we have a vague or hater. Today, I will not be alone to talk about of this topic. Adjanys, a wonderful woman, a brand photographer and consultant. I have amazing connection with her, and we talk about our vision that confidence is very underestimated, especially as a woman entrepreneur who wants to build an empire. Thanks so much, Adjanys, to accept my invitation. I hope that I pronounced right your name. I was so scared.
I'm so happy you had me here. I'm really excited.
So, can you introduce yourself for people who don't know you?
Hello, this is always my favorite part. Just kidding. I hate this part, but let's go. Let's do it. So I am Adjanys, and you said my name correctly, surprisingly, but that's because I think my name is French origin. Yeah. You have the actress Isabelle Adjani.
Yes.
She's an older actress. I think that's where my name comes from. So you might be the only person that knows how to say my name.
Yay! I'm so happy.
You get the gold sticker.
I was so stressed when I said, I hope that I pronounced right.
You're the first person. So yes, I am a metaphysics teacher and a personal branding photographer, and I would say consultant now more than a coach, but I did life coaching and spiritual and intuitive coaching for some years now. I've been in business as a photographer. Oh my gosh, my first photography class, I was 12 years old.
Oh my God.
And then I got my degree in photography because I thought there was something in there for me, which clearly there was. I've worked with industry giants like Target in America. Target, I don't know, is Target in France?
No, they don't have, but I live in US and I love Target.
Okay, so I work for Target. I also work for Dillard's. Have you been to Dillard's?
No, I didn't.
Because Dillard's is it's kind of like Nordstrom's, but it's in the southern part of the United States. So they might be everywhere now.
Because when I was there, I was there just in Miami for a weekend, so I didn't go to... I just go to the party and the beach, and I live in New York for 5 months. So maybe I just see Target, but I didn't see the other company.
Well, Dillard's, I'm sure that maybe you've seen it and you just never paid attention to it, because I was the head photographer for Dillard's in the Southeast. That means that I was in charge of Florida, Georgia, like all the southern states, even some states that I'm not familiar with. And at that point, Dillard's was divided into like the North and the South and the West Coast. At some point, they merged. But when I was the head photographer for Dillard's, that's what I was doing. And honestly, all the things that I learned about branding and photography, besides school and all this stuff, I really got to give it up to being employed by Dillard's, because it was my first job. As a big deal. I was a head photographer right out of college. They're like, who is this girl? Where did she come from? I was an older student. I was already a mom, right? So I was this anomaly, this weird Puerto Rican girl that came out of nowhere. And I got the head position and I was shooting every single day. Wow. So the most important thing that I learned out of everything, which we're going to start talking about confidence, that will develop your confidence, is to do something every day. And that's what one of these jobs taught me. But I was also worked for, with different modeling agencies, with different models, with actors. So my entire kind of niche before coming online was doing photography for fashion, retail, marketing, and businesses. And so after COVID and things had to change, I definitely love the idea of being a brand photographer for women. And I took all those 20 years of experience on marketing and all that, and I brought it to personal branding. I'm still figuring it out because budgets are different. We used to work with $20,000, $30,000 productions and a team. So I kind of condensed that so we can kind of create that similar experience, like a high production experience, beautiful curated images. But because I'm also like an intuitive and a medium, I also bring in that energetics. And it's funny because one of the things that I do, and I didn't know I did it, is that I can see, like I literally can see brands and what is their path as far as visuals and photography to get them to feel right the way that they want to feel, number one, so confidence within themselves, but also so that their clients can see it and they see someone who can help them. Most important thing is when they see that image, they go, that person's my person, they can help me. And so the number one thing, with this introduction is how important that idea of developing confidence and repetition was for me, something I learned in one of these early jobs. And then after that, I literally became a really good photographer because I was just doing it every day for 8, 10, 12 hours every day. Years. After 2 years, literally, I was probably like the equivalent of a master in photography, even though it was such a short period of time because of the frequency of doing something every day.
Yeah. I think I love that your background and what you say, because for me, it's like when you see your background, you say, okay, yes, I'm sort of trained thing, but it didn't stop you to doing something that you love, because you work with a big brand and everything. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like, maybe I'm a person that don't fit in, but I know that I will fit in because I will learn whatever I could in this period of time, and I will make my stuff and I will make my position here. And after, when COVID is here, you say, oh, okay, I want to do something is more meaningful for me. I don't say that before is not meaningful, but something is more you, that you can really bring all your pieces that you learn, your medium, your spirituality, your metaphysic, and also your photography, to really see the uniqueness of the person when they want to develop a brand. And I love that about you. And you say, oh, it's about, yes, confidence, but also because I repeat every day what I do to really become the best that I could. And I love that.
I think that especially because confidence is not only the topic, but it's a core pillar for my business. And in all actuality, it's really a core pillar for life. I haven't found anyone in life, in my experience, that has succeeded without confidence. Even with luck, even if somebody gets a lucky break, right? Like they win the lottery or whatever, the confidence that it requires even to just buy the lottery ticket. Like for me, confidence is everything. And it's something that is hard to pinpoint because it's not a feeling. And when we think about confidence, we want to make it feel like, I want to feel powerful. I want to feel this. And my experience has been that through my confidence journey per se, I've never felt I was going to nail it. It was more about taking the risk. Now, I did take the risk knowing what I can bring to the table. It wasn't just like a haphazard, like, I'm just going to apply to be a bank, the president of the bank. I had to also build myself up with confidence. And I think as a woman that comes from the Caribbean, having moved to the United States, for me, what gave me confidence was getting education. I know a million photographers that do not need a degree, that they're amazing, they're self-taught. I believe this world, the confidence comes from however you need to acquire it. But I know that for me, acquiring confidence also comes from learning. And so shooting every day, learning something every day, messing up every day was actually how I gained confidence. It had nothing to do with a feeling. It was more about being brave enough to take action. And it wasn't because I 100% believed in myself. I don't think that anybody feels that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But there are moments where I just knew, where I was just like, I just know I'm more. I'm meant for more. I know that what I hear, the messages inside of me are louder than the messages from outside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would take a risk. And I would do that thing completely afraid, completely not knowing it was going to work, and it would work. Right. And so I feel confidence is a development of taking risks over and over. And when you do something every day, which is the opportunity that I got to do that for fashion brands and things like that, I just had this the ability to fail every day too.
Mm-hmm.
Every day that I didn't get something photographed correctly that was the last time that happened, because the next day I could fix it, or even in that moment. And so another part that was really important I want to mention is the reason why I started to work with women, personal brands individually. When I was with a big company, I was fired because I was pregnant.
Oh.
And they told me.
Okay.
And in America, that's illegal. I'm pretty sure it's illegal.
Yes, it's illegal. Normally, you cannot fire
France is really. I know France is buttoned up with the rights thing. I keep my eye on France, but it was very illegal. And I was 9 months pregnant, and I felt so betrayed.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about how I fell out of love with photography, because it was also that I was in the middle of being a photographer that I had this heartbreak. It's like, you're pregnant, so you're not going to be here. We're going to let you go. And I just felt like that moment, I was like, how I'm a good photographer. I'm doing all the right things. Like, my confidence off. That derailed me, because now something that I was really passionate about, suddenly I was no value because I was a woman. So I really have a strong heart for women because of all the challenges that women within themselves have to go through. But another part was that I was lying to women all the time. And you and I have talked a little bit. You know that I don't like lying to people. I don't like tricking them. So I was telling people that they look better with this type of makeup, but it was Photoshop. Yes. I was telling them that you can use the shampoo to make their hair nice, but it wasn't that shampoo. Yes. It's not Photoshop. It was a hairstylist that makes thousands of dollars to make this woman look this gorgeous. Yes. So my personal values, I started to lose my confidence, because I felt that who I was as a woman and as a person and my belief systems were being challenged by my career. So even though I was let go, and it was kind of like, hard, the positive part, it was like, I call this God doing for you what you can't do for yourself, is that I wasn't going to be successful because I'm not going to be successful lying to women.
Oh, I love that. Yes,
so I had to get away.
Yes. And for me, I connect with you with my personal story, because before, when I go to coaching, I did my PhD and a postdoc. So I am a scientist. And when I start, I didn't have confidence, because when you start your PhD, you need to learn everything. And I love what you say. You come to confidence. You are self-confident because you do it something, and not because you believe that you can do. And for me, I feel that when I was in science, I was like, oh, I start to learn. And when I started, and I know that this is foundation, I need to do that, and I do that every day. And after, it will be like a muscle that is automatic, that I will feel confident after to do it without watching the protocol. And it was the same when I started my coaching business. When I started my coaching business, I don't say, oh, I know that I deserve more just to do a scientist. I have a voice. I have something to share to the world. And I was like, oh, I want to share. And when I decided to do my podcast, I have 2 podcasts in French and in English. I was like, oh, let's talk my truth. And at the beginning, I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh, I will just share what I want to share. And I was like, okay, let's open my phone and just record myself, because at the time I didn't have any micro. I didn't know about all the world of podcasting. I say, oh, I have a message that I want to share. And I record myself, and I was so, you can see my voice. I was a small voice and everything. But I fell in love about podcasting, because right now I have almost 3 years podcast right now. And my podcast, I fall in love with that because I can share my truth and it's myself. And I feel like I develop confidence because I know that I share my truth. Even if I don't know everything, but is my truth. So I feel confident to share my truth and resonate with the right people. And when I can see is people forget about that it's not just a feeling, oh yes, feel confident, or I hate the word fake it until you make it, because you lie, for me, it's like a lie that you lie in yourself. And also you are for people, but I feel like you lie in yourself, because when you say take it until you make it, you lie in yourself. You don't listening that there's something in you that you don't believe, and you don't work on that to say, okay, maybe I can start to fake it, but I need to, in one point, understand why I don't believe in myself, or why I don't have self-confidence on myself, because people will see that you are faking, because
That's right.
sometimes it's like you are tired, or you don't want to recall yourself, you don't want to do the life, and you are like, oh, I don't want to do it. And you do it for not the good reasons. You do it because you want to sell, and not in place of love that you want to share your truth. Because for me, to sell is like you share your truth, and this truth will resonate with someone. So you'll say, oh, she understands me, and she is my solution, or she have a piece of my solution. But if you don't sell your truth because you fake it, how people we can connect? And it's for that, as you say, that I resonate with you. It's like, I do the thing every day, and after I feel confident, and I say, it's so right, because at the beginning, it's normal that you don't feel confident, because you are like a baby and you learn step of the process. And it's for that for me, you really need to fall in love with the process, and fall in love with the process is to fall in love with you and to become more confident. And it's normal that at the beginning, and even during the process, you don't feel confident, because you learn new things. What do you think?
You know what's so funny? As you're speaking, I live in Los Angeles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we all know Los Angeles is known for celebrities.
Yes.
And movies and actors and singers and just the whole entertainment industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? I feel like when you think of New York, you think of like, what is those guys that sell stocks? Like you just think of like business and
Yes.
well, when you think of like LA,
Wall
you
Street
think of Hollywood. Yeah. So it's interesting because when I first moved out here, I found this acting coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly how I found her, because I wasn't trying to become an actor, but it was because I was doing research around how to change and move emotion authentically.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that I have a background in life coaching, and that includes mindset and all that stuff. So we all kind of, I think if you're a coach and been in the coaching industry, we've all kind of moved from topic to topic, finding our true calling, our true place. So as I started life coaching, in which I really love life coaching, but it's too general, because life coaching is life. Like, it's too much. It's a lot of stuff, But one thing that I really was really cool is, as I got into like creating processes so people can learn to develop things, not just confidence, anything, develop systems, develop habits. What I learned is that in Hollywood, they have this process called the substitution. And it's when an actor has to create a dramatic scene with emotions, but he doesn't feel those emotions, right? So what does he do? So let's say that there's an actor and he's in a scene with a woman, and they're supposed to be romantic and kiss really passionately, but he doesn't find her sexually attractive, and it's like, ew, how do I do this, right? So what they acting coaches train people to do is substitution. So instead of thinking of the person that's in front of you, you're thinking of the man that you love. So when that actor, or the woman that you love, whatever, right? So when the actor closes their eyes and they're kissing their acting partner, and you want them to be thinking about something authentic, so that the acting scene is actually emotive and powerful. And this is way more important than people think. And so when you think about actors, we all can identify a good actor, but we all can identify a bad actor. And what's the difference? The difference is that a bad actor is pretending to have emotions. A good actor is having the emotion. And he uses substitution to fill in the blanks. So if I've never had a dog before, and I'm in a movie and I have to pretend that my dog passed away, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that feeling. But I've had maybe my grandparents passed. So I can tune into that grief, into that fear. That is authentic. And so when you are, and because I'm, a camera woman, when I have a person in front of my lens and they have authentic, real emotion, and this is where this like really cool branding piece comes in, that translates authentically to your audience. And the audience, and what confidence for me is very close to authenticity. Mm-hmm. Because you could be confident and vulnerable, which means you're scared, you're open, you're sharing something private, intimate, and you're being brave, and you're so confident, even if in that moment you're experiencing insecurity because of that topic, whatever that we're discussing. So with confidence, a really cool thing that I find that works is this process of substitution, and it's completely for actors, but we can learn all these things through our world and apply it to our lives. So with substitution, I use this in manifestation, mm-hmm. which is really, really cool. And I call it the highlight reel, right? Which is just like a reel, but it's in your mind. And what you do is you are going to look for a bunch of memories correlating to how you want to feel in this moment. Now, you understand that in this moment, maybe you're not happy, right? Mm-hmm. Just like, I want to feel happy, or you're not confident. I want to feel confident. I simply have already created in my mind a list of memories in which I felt confident. And all I have to do is revisit those memories very quickly in my head. And guess what happens? Immediately that confidence rushes into your body, mm-hmm. because your body is always responding to your mind. Mm-hmm. Your body's always, and then that's where the confidence comes from, like as a tool. So we can take a moment and use this concept of acting the substitution and say, I don't feel brave, I don't feel this. But there's moments where we all have felt confident. We all have felt brave. And even if it's one moment, you can tune back into that moment over and over and over. Make sure that you're recalibrating yourself to that memory, and you will feel confident, because confidence is also a habit. We can create that, but not having confidence is a habit, right? It's a habit of self-doubt.
Yes,
it's a habit of, right. So it's really cool that in all these like processes, in our conversation and all the things, we can absorb things from actors, from singers, all these methodologies from everywhere. But in the bottom line, what they're affecting is our mindset. What they're doing is they're shifting the conversation inside our minds from like, I'm not confident, I don't know what I'm doing, I can't talk about my prices, I can't go online, I don't know. And then you remember that moment. And for me, it could be very simple. It could be, I did a fashion show and I was at the end of the runway and people stood up and clapped. I just go to that moment, because in that moment, I felt like I was on top of the world. I was like, I made it, right? And so before you get on a phone call, before you write that blog post, this takes seconds. This is not a lengthy process. I'm the type of person that likes to give people really fast processes they can apply in real life, because I don't have 2 hours to journal. I have to cook and do a bunch of things with my kids.
And especially journal is not for everyone. So
it's not for everyone, right? So I just go to the highlight reel and I start to apply the substitution. And I was like, I want to feel happy. I want to feel confident in this moment. I don't have to worry about this moment, because I understand that it's all happening in my mind. So let me give my mind something more productive. And the confidence happens as a result of knowing what to do.
Yes.
Right? Like when you play a game, like if you play chess, you could feel like if you don't know how to play chess, you don't know, you're not confident about it. You don't know. But the moment you learn how to play, how the chess pieces moves, how the game is strategized, you start becoming confident. So developing confidence in business and in life is actually learning how life works. And that's all the mindset that is required behind any strategy, behind any business, and as a matter of fact, behind any relationship.
Of course. I'm totally agree. Because for me, it's like to have self-doubt. Of course, all people have self-doubt, but it's a choice. Because when you want to share your message, when you want to go to the world and sell your offer, you will need to sell your transformation. But if you are like, each time you are like, I am not good enough, I am not enough, people will not buy it, you choose to have this conversation with yourself. Yes. I know that, of course, you will have that because you don't know. But when, for example, it's 1 month, 3 months, and you don't fix that, and you are like, oh, you are shaking, you don't share your message, or even in a simple post, you don't share what you want to say because, oh, I don't want to be judged and blah, blah, blah. It's a choice. And I feel like your solution is good because you can say, oh, I can have fixed solution to say, oh, maybe I can remember, for example, when I have my diploma or when I have this or that, what is my emotion that I have in this moment? Oh, I feel confident, I feel powerful, I feel beautiful woman of the world, or maybe the first day that your man say, oh, I love you and something like that. You can bring that to the table and share your message. I know that sometimes it's difficult because you say, oh, but I don't feel enough. Yes, because you choose to don't feel enough. I know that sometimes you say, oh, you don't feel enough because your parents say don't feel enough. But you are not anymore a child. So you really need to work on that because people feel like in order to sell, you need to have a strategy in place. Yes, of course, it's a piece. For me, it's like the stage of the cake. But to have the foundation, you need to have the flowers, the egg and everything. And for me, is self-confidence and mindset in order to build the cake. For me, it's like you need to have the quick fix and also you need to go deeper because, of course, for me, the quick fit is, for me, the solution when you want to do the life, when you are doing lashing and you are low energy, you say, oh, I am low energy right now. I need to have like a boost. So you need to do that. But in the long term, for me, and I think you are agree with me, we need to work on why I don't feel confidence. It is adult problem. It is a child problem. What is the problem? What is my emotion right now?
Or is it a bad habit?
Yes.
We've been trained to think in a negative way because as survival mechanism stirs up, we're not looking for things that are going to make us happy. We're looking for things that we need to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So the negative things are always going to be a little bit more loud. They're going to be like, hey, don't do this, versus like, hey, this is cool. Because it just feels like it's fine. I don't have to worry about that because it's working. But because I teach metaphysics and law of attraction, one of the things that people always have a hard time with is monitoring their thoughts. Right? And I think that monitoring your thoughts is impossible or hard. If you don't want to think impossible, but definitely hard. What I think is actually really easy is to manage your emotions.
Yeah.
Because if you ask yourself, what are you thinking right now? You're like, I don't know what I'm thinking right now. But if you say, what am I feeling? And there's only two answers, good or bad. You can easily say that, well, I'm neutral. Oh, I feel good. Oh, not so good. So much easier to have that availability, that spectrum on the energetics, because we know exactly what happiness feels like. We know exactly what sadness feels like. We don't know the thousands of thoughts that bombarding us, the triggers that's so much harder to manage. So with the highlight reel, I started to do it at first without writing it down. I was like, and it was so hard to think of a happy memory when you're in bad energy, right? So your mindset cannot be good if your energy is, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm bored.
Yes.
So then what I started to do is I created a list of the highlight reel ahead of time. So whenever I found myself in this negative space where I didn't feel confident, I didn't feel secure or self-doubting, I can pull out the list and then you can memorize it. But when you're trying to feel good, when you feel bad, it's impossible. The energies are too different. So what you do is instead of giving your brain something to do, like help me feel better, you just have the solution. You have it. You can pull out your phone and you can say, remember that day when like you were 5 years old and you got a bicycle? Because the idea is not to feel like, I got this, I'm going to do it. The idea is to move away from feeling the doubt. The moment you stop the doubt, feeling good just rushes in. It just automatically just happens. I think that feeling good is more natural than feeling bad. All you have to do is stop feeling bad, but that's hard. So with the highlight reel, the first thing that you could do is just like, okay, how am I feeling right now? I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I'm doubting. So you have that quick check-in, your palms are sweaty, you feel weird, I'm nervous or I'm sad or I'm upset. The second thing would be like, do you want to change how you feel? I'm not going to tell you to not feel that way because some things we need to feel. If you have a tragedy, you need to feel grief.
Oh, yeah,
if something sad, you need to feel that sadness. We're human and we're here to feel. And not all the feelings are always going to be good, amazing, exciting feelings. Human. But it also gives you choice, because you say, well, I know that I'm human. Or sometimes maybe if we overreact about a problem that's not that big of a deal, but our minds is making it bigger than it is. I always use this highlight reel to like stop it, because I also understand law of attraction is about energy. And if your energy is spiraling down, your point of attraction is also like going downhill, right? So for me, it's about like almost like pressing on the gas gently, on the brakes gently. You're just like, let's just stop here. And for a moment, think about, so I'll give you some of my highlights. I did a fashion show. So at the end of the fashion show, people were clapping. So I just imagine me at the end of the fashion show, and instantly, I can't even help it, my whole body just feels like so happy for that moment, so proud. And because it's a real moment that happened, my physiologic, like my body is not calling me a liar internally. I think that with when you don't feel confident or worthy, or you have like imposter syndrome, is because you do something and the communication inside is going, you're a liar. Yes. That's not real. That's not true. So you stop that. You're like, okay, let's just wait for a second. I did this, and I did this. And so once you have your leverage back, right, you're in this kind of negative place, you look at your little list, and all you have to, it literally takes seconds for you to look at this list, and you're like, okay, I did amazing things. Like, this is okay. Immediately, when you look back at the problem that was worrying you, it's less, if not gone. I've had many times where I'm just like, I'm so like nervous, anxious, I don't know what to do. And I think about the highlight reel, especially the story that I shared where I got the job at Dillard's, and it was like this girl came out of nowhere, beat out all these people that were trying to get this job. And I was like, not following anyone's advice. I was just going for whatever felt right for me at the moment. And so, because in that's confidence. Confidence is being able to choose what feels right for you, regardless of what anybody else is saying.
You feel your intuition. You listen your intuition.
Yes. And you're just like, I don't know, and I don't care. These people are telling me things, but this doesn't feel right. I can hear that. And I think we mentioned it already, but like sometimes confidence is not just like a feeling of bravery, but it's a choice. You can choose to do it, and that develops the confidence, or you can choose not to do it.
Yes.
We don't know what happens, right? Because we're choosing to do it. We're confident.
For sure. Because for example, I can talk about my one is like, I am shy on camera. And at the beginning, I was avoiding to record myself and everything, because I was like, oh, I will not do it because, oh, I am bad. It's not good and blah, blah, blah. But what I decided is, okay, I have to choose. The choice is don't record myself. And at the moment, my solution was, because I know that my message was good, I decided to do podcasts. So I didn't stop. I changed the trajectory. Yes, I changed the direction. And I say, okay, my message is too big. And maybe right now, my intuition tell me to do podcast.
Yes.
And after 3 years ago, I said, no, I am ready to work on my confidence on camera. So I decided to say, okay, let's do the jump. I will record myself to talk in English. And I was so scared at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, I don't talk right. And I say, you know what? You are like a baby. Just record yourself. Just do the muscle. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I meet you. And I was like, oh, okay. And for me, it's like, what you say is like, you build this muscle and you say, I was not pretend to be confident. I was like, I know that I feel like confident for me is comes that you have something drive you. You don't, maybe it's your intuition, your vision, follow whatever you want. And you say, oh, I am capable to do that. Even, I don't know how, but you feel that is the right thing to do. And it's okay. And for me, it's for that many entrepreneurs don't succeed. It's not about the strategy. It's because they don't feel confident that their message is okay. They don't feel that they are enough in everything. And you can tell me, yes, it's about the strategy. Maybe, but I feel like to go to the strategy, you need to be confident that your message, whatever you are selling is the best thing in the world, even if there are 100 people or 1,000 people doing the same thing as you.
What's interesting also about confidence is how I've had to display confidence when I didn't think I had any. And I have a 23-year-old daughter. And me and her were talking one time and she goes, Mom, are we more confident than we think? Are we more confident than we realize? And that conversation was important for me because I realized that confidence wasn't a feeling when we had that conversation. I realized it wasn't a feeling because we didn't feel confident. Like I don't feel like the prettiest girl in the world. I don't feel like the most, like the bravest. I don't actually in particular feel anything like that. And then we and her were just like, are we confident and not realize it? And we just like started to dig into these conversations. That's why talking to smart women is really important because that's how we move information around. That's how we discover. Sometimes we can't hear our own information, but when we share it, you and I talk, me and my daughter talk, we can hear it, really hear it. So I had this conversation with her and I said, could it be possible that we've been thinking all along that confidence is a feeling of like how feeling good is a feeling? Like I feel love. Like I think confidence is not actually indeed a feeling. It's more of an acknowledgement of who you are, an availability to take action on things you want to take action on, right? It's I find people want to do stuff and then don't, and they don't even know why, right? But I had to develop confidence because there was no other way for me to succeed. When I started in photography, in commercial photography, fashion photography, that was a boys' world. And pretty much, I'm not like out there in the fashion world, but I still feel like that's pretty much, it's a boys' world still in fashion, commercial, and business and branding, where weddings and portraits became what women did because women have babies, women get married. So I can see where that happened. And back in the day, commercial, if you think about like old school commercial advertisements, they had like a girl in a bikini with a hamburger. Like it could be very sexist, you know, because it's very male dominated. Still, you know, like I said, I'm not out there in the streets like that. But I remember that saying yes to opportunities before you were confident develops the confidence, because I had someone come up to me because I always wanted to do fashion design and I had some swimsuits and stuff. And she goes, hey, I'm doing a fashion show. Would you want to be in it? And I said yes. After I said yes, now I had to make the swimsuits. I had to make the stuff. What I'm saying is confidence is like getting pregnant. It's not something that you plan. It's something that happens. And once you're in it, once you say yes to this, then you got to deal with you got to play it out. So I did fashion shows before I knew how to actually make clothes. I applied for jobs before I had the experience. And I did not know that I did not do this because it was smart. I did this on gut instinct. And that's how you develop your confidence. You develop an internal relationship with yourself that you become your own guiding system. Because just looking back, had I followed the advice, had I said no to fashion design opportunities because I was like, well, I don't have a degree yet. I don't know how to do this and that. I started manufacturing in China and started doing that with no knowledge. I just decided, and I don't know how I found a manufacturer and just started to do it. Before I knew it, I was in production, right? Before I knew it, somebody else asked me to do another fashion show, which I said yes to, which I had to make swimsuits myself. So I think confidence is about experimentation and saying yes to things in life that I'm not saying that saying yes is going to lead you to your passion, but it's going to lead you to the life that you want. Because I said yes to fashion design, thinking I wanted to be a fashion designer. And once I did it, I realized I didn't want to do that. So I think sometimes we're not going to know exactly what our path is. We just have to play and experiment. If I didn't go back to school for fashion design, if I didn't go in these runways, I would have never known that was in my path, and I would have fantasized about it. I would have been like,
For
if
sure.
I was a fashion designer, I would be so rich. And now looking back, I was like, I don't want to do that type of work. I don't want to be like, that's just not the environment I want to be in. And so now when I look at photography, I was like, man, it makes so much sense that photography came into my world. I didn't seek it out. It fell on my lap. I think that that's the cool part about the universe, that you just get to live, you develop your mindset, you develop your internal world, and you play and experiment. I would not trade, even though fashion design seems like an amazing thing, I would not trade that with photography. I enjoy photography so much more. And that confidence also comes from experimentation, right? So like, it's almost like you don't need to know what to do. You don't need to have a strategy. You don't need to have all the pieces. You don't need to have anything except a desire to have a better life. And then actively, the mindset piece comes in, that as you are pursuing that life, you are going to develop that confidence that is going to be hand in hand. What do you think about, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you find in your experience working with people that is the fastest way that people start developing their confidence?
For me, it's like when I can see my clients, when they start, they realize that her story have a power. It's not about when they have a client, they are happy, but when they see that, this piece of content, when I share my story, not just the how to do that or why you do that, is in my life, I know that, and they do a storytelling content, and people after say, I have the same feeling. They start to feel confident to say, I am not crazy. People in the world feel the same thing as me. I think it's the first sparkle, and after is the same. The women that I coach don't have self-confidence. They are the abundant food. So people pleaser, they put other people before her.
Yes, they put themselves last.
Yes, so they put themselves last. So to say other people that, you have the right to put your dream first, as being there, no, I can't, I am selfish, blah, blah, blah.
It's very scary because the entire world taught us to not be self-care oriented. They're more like, I was the oldest out of 5 siblings. So I was like taking care of my little brothers and sister. So we're taught to not take care of ourselves.
Of course. And when to say to someone, you are allowed to follow your dream, it's scary. So they are like the self-doubt. But when you say, it's possible that for me in my work, you can make money of that, and say, it's right. Yes. And they share their story and they see that people react. Sometimes it's not about to have clients. Sometimes it's to confident about, my story is powerful. My story, I can make money of that. My story, it's okay to think about first. It's not selfish. I know that if I am happy, I can be happy. I can bring happy to other people.
Absolutely. I think that businesses nowadays, they miss the one of the missing ingredients is that they are, I feel a little bit on the fence about this because I do believe that a business is for a client. You can't start a business for you. That would be a hobby. Something that's just for you is a hobby. So when it's a business, it's about providing a service to help someone else. But I believe that the issue is that when we don't create a business that we like, and we're so just client oriented, and we forget to create a business that we love, because now they're getting a benefit, but we're burnt out because we are not getting the value. So there's a couple of things that when you were talking, I thought were so important, which is one of the things that have brought confidence to me. And in your stories, from what I hear, is being true to your values, being true to because you talked about being authentic. And when you're authentic and sincere and vulnerable, that could be very scary. But how that is committed to the values, right? Like the kind of the power that you want to create in the changes, the power, the shifts you want to create in the world, they come from your value system, right? They come from like what's important to you. So another thing that I think is really crucial to really point out is that sometimes we don't know what strategy to actually connect to because we don't know our values. So if you don't value, for example, someone like me that's considered a little bit more premium and luxury because of my price point, if I don't know that my clients value luxury, comfort, and a certain type of experience, then I'm not going to be able to price that correctly or even talk about it correctly. So I first need to know what do I value? Do I value adventure? Because if I value adventure, and let's say luxury, right? Because luxury money and all that. Let's say that I highly value that, then I cannot necessarily have a lot of low ticket offers because it confuses my internal value system. My value system is for high ticket. If I start creating a bunch of low offer tickets, then the confidence is not going to be there because you're not following your blueprint according to the values that are important to you and to your clients. And with branding photography, especially in the metaphysics realms, people are buying your confidence, and your confidence comes from your values.
Yes.
So your values is the first thing that we need to look at. It's composed of your mindset is composed of your values as well, right? What you feel is important, what you feel is the reason you were created, the reason why you're here. So what I find with a lot of women, especially like online entrepreneur women, is that they're not really sure what their values are. And this is not just like, I value time, I value family. No, this is like deep, personal, what you value.
Yes.
Inside. And I learned this from a sales training, and I'm not a sales expert, but I do love sales. So whatever. I do love sales. Sales are fun. I love sales. Sales are so fun. It's hard to sell yourself, but sales are fun.
I love that. Yeah, for sure.
They're so fun. But here's what I learned from a sales training. And I like, once I got this piece, it makes sense, but so many people miss this. Sales equals confidence because you're selling. This is the confidence you're selling. Yes, I am the person that can help you. Yes, my program is the program that can help you. Yes, I am also the person that's going to like help you when you're not feeling confident.
Yes.
So when we have to be not just confident, we have to be aware of why being confident is important, because confidence equals sales. And if you have a product that's really important, right? Mindset, spirituality, internal work, strategy, whatever it is that's really, really important to your clients. If you don't have the confidence to sell that, they are now being held back to a degree, right? They're not able to make it there without you having that piece connected. So you have to be confident that you can deliver. You have to create a program that can deliver.
Yes.
And you have to, it's client selection, select clients that that they're going to slip. We all slip. That's why we all need coaches. We all need help. We all need support. We will slip. We're humans. But that person is going to be able to be the person to motivate you again.
Yes.
And the thing that what makes me confident as a provider is that I'm confident about those three things. I don't have to be confident about my looks. I don't have to be confident about how I talk, about my accent. I don't have to be confident about that, because I'm confident about most important three things. I will deliver for you. No ifs or buts about it. You will get far beyond what I can promise you when you're in my containers. I know that because I live them, right? So that confidence comes because I'm true and authentic to who I am. I also create programs from that place, right? If I don't advise people to ever create programs or systems or even go live or do anything from an energy of doubt. No. That's why the highlight reel is such a quick hack, because you could be in the middle of a job interview and the highlight reel will help you. No one knows what's in your head, you know? You can think of like, remember that day that you nailed the interview, and just really tune into the energy, because energy precedes. Energy comes first, right? In the world of metaphysics, in the world of energetics. So energy is not a result of thought. Thought is a result of energy. So if we check into our energy, let's say, remember, we were talking about how it's much easier to tune into our energy than into our thoughts. Yes. So let's say right now I can tune into my energy. Do I feel good, bad, neutral? I feel good. This is a good conversation for me.
Me too.
So I don't have to suddenly be like, I wonder what I'm thinking about that makes me feel good. Who cares? I feel great. I can just enjoy that moment. I can just be present. But if for some reason we're in the middle of conversation and I start to doubt myself, did I say the wrong thing? Did I answer correctly? What I am going to do is take a step back. I am going to like hold myself. I'm going to let you speak, and I'm going to go to that highlight reel, and I'm going to be like, now the thing is that I don't have to do it as often, because when you podcast, every day, you just get
Yes.
good at it. You just know how to, so you don't need to, but you can easily find yourself in those moments of doubt and really easily break yourself out of that before it has momentum to really make you feel bad.
Yeah, so it's so true. And I want to say something about what you say about the entrepreneur, because it's so true. Because people forget that you need to be the person when your client is self-doubt. You say, oh, I believe in you, you can do it. But the problem is, I can see when the entrepreneur don't sell or attract the wrong people is because their vocabulary or their word is not aligned by the people that they want to sell, because they are so scared to don't have money. So they prefer to use small word, what I call is small word. So they attract people that after want free stuff or ghost them. And after I say, oh, maybe I am not good, but you are not good because you don't use the good word, because you are not confident enough to say, oh, I am confident enough because I know it's people for me to talk about my real clients. Even if not right now, but I know that my real client is here and can pay me because I know I am the best coach for them. And people forget about that, because it's for that people forget that it's not all about strategy, because people think that, yes, I need to market myself, I need to post, I need to do live, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is you can do that, but if you don't use the right word for your soul clients, you will don't sell.
Exactly.
Because you will not be the person to say, oh, you can do the same thing as me, because you don't use the right word. And after you are like, oh, I don't know why these people got me. I don't know why I don't have that. Yes, of course, because you don't market yourself in the right way.
That's right. 100%. 100%.
And after you can go to masterclass, freebie to freebie and say, oh, I know it. You don't know, because if you know it, you will sell.
Exactly.
It's because you don't know and you feel that you know that
That's
people
right.
say, oh, don't give me everything. They give you the small thing, but because you don't do the work. And when I talk the work, it's not just about what is your ideal client, is, as you say, what is your value? What is your value? If you want to have a luxury brand, you need to talk luxury world. You need to show luxury brand. And for example, when I say to my clients, I say, you need to show your transformation. If, for example, you are a spiritual girl, you need all the day show that you use, for example, some oracles, you need to do what you are pushing, because people you don't understand. But if you don't do that, for example, for me, it's like in my brand, I love to have a balance between work and doing some personal stuff. So every day I try to show that I am running, because I love running. I love to do sport, workout. Sorry, sport is in French. So I love workouts. So it's like, I really want to show that I want to have people that take care of their health and want to really understand that you don't need to burn out in order to sell. Of course, you need to put the work. 100%, but you will need to stop to focusing to be perfect and to be real, and stop to, for example, from your computer and take time for you, because if you don't have energy for you, how you can show your energy to your
100%.
To your audience or to your clients. And I know that because I've been doing the same thing. I was like, I need to be perfect. I need to stop to live because I want to have to sell and sell and sell. But the problem when you are in this type of fear of lack of money, and I know it's normal because at the beginning we want money, because when we start, of course, it's for helping people, but it's also to have money. But the problem, but the problem when you are in the mentality of lack, you are in the scarcity, and you don't sell because you don't use the right word, because you're thinking, oh, people don't buy me because they don't have money. No, it's because you don't have money and you don't have the confidence that people will pay something for you, because you say, oh, I am not enough. Who one will pay me? It will pay you because you use the right word. And it's very important for me to work on your value, will build your confidence, because for me, it's just not about just selling, because as you say, selling is confidence. And people don't tell you that, because they just say, oh, you need to sell and post every day. But posting every day is not enough. I can tell you that.
It's not enough. And here's the thing. I've heard it from like different experts. I've heard experts say, this is the way that it goes. You got to do this, and this, and this is the way. And I've heard other experts say, man, I've succeeded doing this and this. And I've done. The thing is, what they both have in common, one has a very strategic, streamlined, step by step, and another one's all over the place. And they are both successful because they both have confidence.
Yes.
And if we understood that, we would put less emphasis on the system. I know that confidence is the issue, because if you have 30 systems and they all work, then you have to go to, well, what's not working? And when you look at the people individually, the people with confidence makes anything work. I have a couple of things that I want to say about that. So
yes,
one of my mentors, not my personal mentor, but he's one of my photography mentors. I've taken courses, programs. I go back to this program over and over. I go rewatch it again over and over. And one thing that really impacts me that he says, and I want to share this, is he went around the room and he asked everybody, are you a $10,000? This is a photography program. Are you a $10,000 photographer? And they're like, no. $10,000? They're like, no. Would you pay for that? And they're like, no. And they were like, well, you will. And I think what happens is that, like a baby, right? We forget that someone's not going to pay a baby $10,000, but we'll pay a man or a woman $10,000. But we are sometimes in this baby stage and we're expecting grown money. Yes. When we need to be okay with being a beginner, we need to be okay with being a baby and learning to develop. I have children. So if my children, I saw them get up and I take the first step and we celebrated that. Yes. Sometimes when we have a failure in our business, we put ourselves down instead of celebrating it the way that we celebrate a baby taking his first step. And then he take 5 steps and then 10 and now he runs. That did not happen in one day. And it didn't happen at the same development, right? At a 1-year-old and 5-year-olds, they have different developmental from the brain to the physical body. So for me, this is true in business. So I had this mentor say, he goes, just because you cannot afford a $10,000 wedding shoot right now, and I don't shoot weddings, but this was the program, it doesn't mean that it won't be one day when you're ready to get married, when you're ready to make this commitment, when you want to make this commitment, but you provide a $10,000 service. And that's the value within itself. So we sometimes confuse what we are able to afford ourselves, of course, based on what other people may need. And for me, I will never pay. And this is my just most honest truth. I would never pay a photographer $10,000 because I can take my own photos. But if I was unable to do that, and I really understood the value, especially in wedding photography, I've shot weddings, and the reason I don't do it is because this is someone's most precious day. If I mess up, if my equipment breaks, if I'm not nice, because, you know, sometimes I'm not, this is going to ruin these people's memories. And I do not want that. I like commercial where we can shoot it again. We can be creative. We can do some fun. I can have you hanging off from the ceiling. It's so much fun, right? The work that I do. But would I pay $10,000 for a person for a branding shoot? No, because I can. But I can't do weddings. And I promise you that the day that I have my man, I don't know if we're ever going to tie the knot. We're not very religious, right? But the day that we decide to do that, I would spend more money on the photography than I would spend on the dress, than I would spend, because those are memories, not only in my mind, but they're actual physical contained memories.
Yes, of course.
So what I want to tell everybody out there who wants to make money, wants to make 5K, 2K, all that stuff, is that even if you can't afford that right now, you will.
Of course.
You will be able to afford that. And you have to be, the most important part is to be willing. Now, just because I don't spend $10,000 right now on a wedding doesn't mean I'm not willing. I'm willing. And as long as you have a willing spirit, you can charge whatever you want. Now, as you are deciding to charge whatever you want, then you have to go back to being like a baby and learning that you're just learning how to walk. That you have to go through maybe a $500 program before you can charge $1,000. And you may have to charge $1,000 before you can charge $10,000. And then enjoying developing the business that you like is more important than having the money, because the biggest mistake that I can prevent someone from making is having the wrong client. A client. I know. I don't care how much money you have to pay me. You could pay me $10,000, but a client that's not coachable, a client that doesn't understand the value, like all that stuff.
You will come back the money. Take it.
Yeah, take it. Like it costs you. And in reality, these clients cost you money and time and effort and
energy.
Trying to please them, trying to come back and please them. So the most important thing that I think this conversation, if we could just like summarize the highlight, is confidence is about not just who you are, but like not just you, who you like, what kind of transformation you can provide, making sure that you're certain that you can provide a transformation. A lot of times people are not comfortable, they're not certain they can provide a transformation. Then you need to know. You need to know how you can do that, and you need to do that 100% of the time. I don't believe in programs that 2 people get results, 10 people get results. I believe in programs that everyone gets results. And that requires a special type of provider. That requires a provider that understands the psychology and the mindset, and confidence, has to develop her own confidence. So she can give to her clients, because we can't give what we don't have. And I think that's the one thing that I have heard repeatedly in the industry, that we have clients coming to us to try to make more money, try to fix, quote unquote, fix what's wrong with the business. But it's because they've missed the one crucial thing, which is confidence. And that comes ahead of the business strategy. That comes ahead of basically anything to do with business, even before you decide to have a business.
Of course.
Because there are some people that are not meant to be business owners.
It is fine.
And that's okay. Right? Or they're meant to have a temporary business, or they're meant to have a side business. So you need to know who you really are. And that confidence, because, for example, you and I talked about, I don't want 500, 1,000, 1 million clients. I want 1 or 2, because I can provide the most impeccable service. Now, if I didn't know that, then I will be buying programs, spending my money on programs that are selling to a different demographic. And then I can be losing confidence doing a program that's not the right one. So step 1, I think that this podcast, this conversation, I hope that it brings people to that clarity. This is step 1. You have to build that confidence. I mean, it works in romantic relationships. Men love women who are confident, or anyone. You know, when we experience people that come into our world with lack of confidence, it affects our business, but it's also because it's mirroring to us maybe perhaps our own lack of confidence. So in order to have a business where you're confident about, you really have to work on this muscle. This is number 1.
It's so important.
And Alicia, I think that you are incredible at explaining the mindset and really helping understand, even with your accent. I love your accent. It's beautiful.
Thank you so
much. But I think you have a really powerful way of explaining how this is literally your jumping off point to have success in anything that you want to do. So thank you so much for inviting me to this.
Me too. And like, I love your brand. I love your brand. I love the way that you explain confidence, and you are so passionate. And for me, it's like, I am so sad sometimes that people underestimate this part of your business, because it can make or break your business, for me, for sure, as well as the mindset. Because people jump, as you say, if you don't know you need to have just 1 or 2 to be happy, you will buy some stuff that you don't need just because you want to fit. Or people say, oh, you need to have you need to have many clients in order to sell. But for you, for example, you just need to have 2, and you already have your goal, and it's fine, and you're happy. So I feel like this episode was really good, because you can understand that you need to feel your intuition, you need to work on your muscle, which is self-confidence, and really you really need to understand what is your value. I think this one is very important. And also, if you want to sell, what is your transformation? And you need to live your transformation. I know it's hard, especially if you are at the beginning of your journey, you don't have clients, but you are your own transformation. So normally it needs to be like you breathe. So, or you drink water, it needs to be the same thing. So my last question for you to end this podcast is, if you want to work with you, how we can do?
Oh, again, another one. I love advertising and marketing. It's always so hard to flip it for myself. But you can find me on adjanys.com. It's ADJANYS.com, or adjanysmarrero.com. Last name is Marrero. I have to spell everything out. But you can find my photography and my courses and all the things that I have on there. Right now, for the rest of the year, I'm working on what I call the Fame Tour. And fame came from this process of being more visible. And it, like all programs, it begins with you, right? It began with me wanting to be more visible in the photography, which I was doing more of coaching and teaching. And I really wanted to bring back the photography because I saw the need in the market. And I was like, these women need me. And it's so I really was like so happy and excited to be back into the photography world and do it with my way. So I decided to create FAME as an acronym, but it primarily is a movement for women to become more visible and sacred fame. And the way that I see sacred fame is kind of like Buddha, Jesus, or any religious person or any thought leader. Without them being famous, we would never know who they are. We would never read their books. We would never be enlightened and have value from them. So they had to embrace being famous and being popular and being seen, even if there's negative comments, even if there's haters, even they had to embrace, because their movement is so much more important, so much more powerful. So the FAME movement for me has a couple of different tiers. There's the FAME photo shoot, which is helping you already calibrate to a more visible you, doing it your way, and also utilizing like energy and metaphysics to make sure that your branding is 100% tailored to who you are, coded to your blueprint. And there's also the FAME. It's kind of like a mindset program where we go. There's two different types. There's a 30-day journaling program. The reason I created that, like, it's more like a low ticket entry offer, is because sometimes people don't even know if they want to be famous. They don't even know if they want to be out there publicly because it's a lot of scrutiny. So they can come in and do a 30-day program where they can sort out their feelings and emotions about possibly what fame would look like. And from that program, then I have a 101 that is it's a little bit of a 101 where we're talking about the deeper blocks of visibility. But it's really intimate. There's like no time frame as far as like you can call me 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. No, this is a program and we will get you results. And that really is like how I work with everybody. So right now I'm also just looking to be on more podcasts just so I can share my message. And I think that's it. I'm always working on some crazy stuff. So the best thing is to find me on Instagram or Facebook, you know? So
I will put all the information to the description so you can find her. And thank you so much.
I am so happy to have met you.
Me too. I think we are really great connection, and thank you so much. I'm so happy that you are my first collaboration in English.
Yay! English, yes. And I promise you that when I find myself back in Paris, we'll meet up.
Of course. Even me, if I go to LA.
Come on, come to
Yes, I will come. Of course, because I love to travel, so I love that.
This is the end of the episode. I hope that you enjoy. There are a lot of knowledge. Don't forget to be your own true, and see you on the next episode. And don't forget to follow.